I think the market's going to stay very tough for a long time. We're going to have a consumer that's under pressure in the UK. But the UK has shown over the last 20 years that we can keep growing the retail sector, whatever the state of the economy. And I really do think, provided we all concentrate on the right things, giving great customer service, continuing to find innovative ways of sourcing, good product development, the UK retail sector can prosper through what's going to be a very difficult period. Well, obviously, when you look 5 years ahead, hopefully the economy will be recovering 2, 3, 4, 5 years out. I think the next 2 years will be difficult for retailers in the UK, but surely by the sort of more medium term, we will see economic growth coming back. I think, secondly, retailers in the UK have shown themselves very flexible at constantly saying where are the next consumer trends coming. Clearly, online is going to become more and more important. We're all going to have to keep investing to keep the high street alive and to keep regenerating the high street. And product development is going to be the biggest driver, especially for companies like us in health and beauty. Getting your products right, getting your customer service right, those are still the old adages, and it's what's really going to matter. I still think in most sectors it's a question of having high street and online working together. There's no doubt about that. Whether it's supermarkets where people want a full range of shopping, whether it's health and beauty retailers like ourselves where customers want to try products, same with clothing retailers, it will still be the combination of buildings and online which really makes customers get the full satisfaction. The consumer is continuing to change. The biggest difference is consumers have got so much information now. When they're using social networking sites, price comparator sites, the internet has literally given the consumer the full plethora of information. And that means that retailers have to think more and more about simply giving top quality products and top quality services, because consumers get their information immediately. And that, I think, is the biggest change for all of us. Well, rather than name individual retailers I admire, I think I admire the fact that different retailers have taken different models to expansion. So you've seen a number of international retailers manage to take a formula through many countries now. Tesco have done it. Many UK retailers have started to show they can take a model abroad and make it work. Similarly, you've seen franchising models start to work now throughout the world. So I don't think there's one size fits all. It really is about saying, well, what are your unique opportunities? What's different about your own customer proposition? And then making that fit, whether it be domestic expansion or global expansion. There really is not a one-size-fits-all. I think people who think there's a one-size-fits-all are going to find the next 10 years very difficult. No, again, I think it's a question of what's right for your brand. Of course, Asia is growing very strongly, and an awful lot of retailers are trying to get into Asia. And there is no doubt that long-term growth in Asia is going to be vastly higher than in Europe. But again, you've got to be so careful taking a one-size-fits-all approach. Retailing is harder to internationalise than many other sectors, and you've got to make sure your model is robust. The interesting thing about the health and beauty markets is touch wood for all of us, for everyone in the markets. On the whole, they have continued to grow through good times, bad times over the last 20 to 30 years. Health is important to everyone and beauty is important to everyone. So of course you're going to see fluctuations and slowdowns as the economy gets weaker, and then it will strengthen again. But in general, both health and beauty have shown themselves pretty resilient to consumer spend over the long term, and that makes them good markets. Well, if we take that as our finish, because I think that it's great timing this. 20 years ago, the high street looked very different to what it looks like today. The growth of out of town that happened in the 80s and the 90s and even the first couple of years of this decade was just extraordinary. The growth of supermarkets has been extraordinary. The growth of online has been extraordinary. I think it's a great time to look back and say, look how much has changed in 20 years, and then say, just how different might the high street and the retail outlet look in 20 years? Because it's going to be very different again 20 years on. It's really good timing for us all to get together and discuss those issues.